Honey, I'm going to the store if you need any... Did you join a cult again?
I was going to shave everything here, but I think I want the people in my life to still look at me. It's bad, you guys. But before we get to the book, do you have a moment to talk about my Lord and Savior, the ancient god force known as X? Jacob Paul Twitchell was an American author, spiritual teacher, creator of the religion Ekankar, and the Mahanta spiritual master of the ancient god force known as Ek. And I said all that with a straight face. He was born, well, we don't really know for sure. There are varying accounts of his birth from 1908, 1909, 1912, and even 1922. Twitchell himself claims that he was born in a river in the middle of an earthquake, which then formed a great lake in a place called China Point, Kentucky, which may or may not be a real place. It's not. Twitchell went to school for teaching, but left before obtaining his degree. There are accounts of him contributing to the Pulp magazines. Some say over 1,800 over a course of a few years, and others say he contributed a story a day, but I've been unable to confirm any of this. If he did, then he didn't use his real name. He was a fiery young man, slight, but very proud of his upper body strength, or so is told from multiple sources. And by multiple sources, I mean him multiple times. You really wanted us to know how strong he was, alright? It seems relevant, Paul. He also only slept 4 hours a night, barely ate food, could read 5,000 words a minute, and had the ability to be in all places at the same time. Wait, what?
I don't believe you.
Twitchell investigated many religions, but was particularly drawn to Hindu religious movements. He served in the Naval Reserve, where he befriended a Pulp author, L. Ron Hubbard, and subsequently became a founding member of Scientology. He was one of the first people to achieve clear status, but later, after falling out with Hubbard, his clear status was revoked. Dang it! He moved to San Francisco until a monk in a dream told him to move to San Diego, where he started writing about his ideas of religion and spirituality. His second wife convinced him that he should take these teachings and start a new religion. This was the birth of Ekankar. Well, not really. You see, apparently his new teachings were actually an ancient science that predates all major religious belief systems, according to him.
You're unbelievable.
He has said, Ekankar will shake the foundations of the teachings of orthodox religions, philosophies, and metaphysical concepts. I'll include a link in the description of this video to a more thorough examination of Ekankar's origins. It might be worth a watch if you're curious, either genuinely or morbidly. In fact, my research has shown that there are a couple Ekankar temples near me, so I decided to visit them for more information. After all, I'm naturally quite curious. Apparently there's an Ekankar church right up ahead. I'm ready to learn. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. That's awkward. That's not church. I think I probably should leave pretty quickly. I don't think I'm supposed to be filming a daycare. That's not a church. Apparently that one is shut down. Okay, well, can't win them all, Ek. Luckily, there was another temple 20 minutes south. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a teeny bit nervous, but I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn the truth. Thanks for nothing, Ek. I just want the truth. I just want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
If you're only open twice a month, does that even count? Well, at least they still host online events. Oh. The trip wasn't a total bust, however. I did get some sweet paraphernalia, aka Pulp swag. You know, I took these little books. Now I see that they actually have prices on them. Did I steal from the Church of Ek? Dreams are a direct line to the sea of our hidden life. Dreams can tell us everything we need to know to get along in this life.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Well, sometimes I have bad dreams. I had a recurring dream when I was a child of me getting chased by gremlins, and then they grabbed me and ate me, but they were smacking their lips. like that when that's some good ASMR, right? Anyway, they were smacking their lips as they were eating my legs, and my mom kept saying, "Stop smacking your lips." Wonder what it means. Anyway, let's find out what it means. Bad dreams. Here we go. Bad dreams may come from poor nutrition or eating additives like MSG. It's used in Chinese food. That's actually what it says. I appreciate the effort, but it was less than helpful, and guess what's going in my next giveaway? Twitchell died in 1971 during a soul travel seminar. Does that mean it worked? That was a bad joke, sorry. But oh no, who would carry the mantle of Mahanta? Can X survive without a spiritual master? Who would wield the rod of power? And yes, that's a real thing. Does this mean that the line of the Viagri Ek masters dating back 6 million years from Gakko, who emigrated from Venus, has been broken? No. Luckily, Twitchell's widow appointed Darwin Gross to lead the religion, who was her boyfriend at the time. But back to Twitchell. In addition to his religious books, we can confirm that he wrote 3 science fiction novels, and he was nominated for a Hugo nephew. That's mean. After all this research, you guys should see the ads I'm getting on my computer right now. Back to the review. Quit screwing around. Apparently, Eckankar doesn't take kindly to exposés, criticism, and the like.
It's incredible. It was midday. I was teaching at the university, and I come back, and the whole place is totally ransacked. I mean, bookshelves thrown over, beds upturned, everything's gone. And the only thing they took were my research files. Every article I'd written, all my research stuff.
Only thing you took?
Well, I mean, what I mean is they didn't take a TV, they didn't take a radio. I mean, they didn't take anything of material value. They just took all my research, and they left this very incriminating note, said no more.
Maybe I shouldn't continue with this review. I don't want trouble. I don't want a hex on me or anything like that.
Tell me about how to cast a spell on somebody.
Well, you don't cast a spell on somebody so much as you do...
Do you love Satan?
No.
If you don't worship Jengus, you have to worship Satan.
Well,
yes,
I wouldn't, I don't think so, because there are so many other gods and goddesses in all of the myths of the world.
Please.
Nope, sorry.
Say you love Satan.
No, I don't love...
I just want to talk about the book, right? So let's try and forget all of that, and we'll just talk about East of Danger, okay? Shrousha. Millions dominated to the point where everything in their life is being controlled. Then free thinkers, people able to be creative, wage a fight to free its people enslaved by the tyrant Agagnir and his mind control techniques. Through love, jealousy, treachery, and deceit, the spiritual warrior and freedom fighter Peter Zask confronts the magicians of illusion, the androids, even the Ancient One himself. Individual freedom can be attained by the people only with the true power working through its chosen vehicles. One is Peter Zask, provided he meets the 2 greatest tests of his life. East of Danger is an original story published in 1978 by Illuminated Way Press, Twitchell's religious printing company. It was copyrighted and released posthumously by his widow, who kept his name after marrying her boyfriend. Aww. It is 180 pages and originally cost $2.50, which I feel like was kind of steep back then. I mean, am I right about that? The cover is by Sarah Epps, and let's be real for a second, it's garbage. It legitimately looks like a middle school art student's doodle.
This is just a doodle. I had nothing in mind doing it. I was just lost myself f***ing around with it, basically.
No exaggeration, I could paint a better cover than this, and so could you. That's either a spaceship or a pita pocket. Look, these ones are zooming, see? Whoosh, zoom lines. Is that a snow globe? Look at that mountain. Move over, Bob Ross. But no, the star here isn't this giant-nosed lady or Ric Flair. No, the star is this dagger. Good heavens, this sucks. I mean, would it have killed you to make it straight? It's wobbly and curved.
It will not kill.
I mean, you didn't feel like reaching into your drawer for a ruler, Sarah? I would be willing to bet you guys anything that Sarah Epps was a member of his congregation.
I can paint this cover for your incredible book, Eckmaster. Yes, I will do it for penance. No, please don't suck my soul!
Whatever your day job was, Sarah, I hope you stuck to that. Am I being too mean? Am I being too hard on this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I am, okay? I'm sorry, Sarah. And Paul, listen, you can find this online for $10 to $15, or you can spiritually download it via Soul Traversal by chanting Hugh for 20 to 30 minutes and experience the light and sound of God.
But when you shut your eyes, look into the center here, spiritual eye area, sometimes called third eye. When you sing Hugh, know that this is one of the most sacred names for God.
All right, let's talk about what I liked. I like coffee, and now the bad. Errors, both in punctuation and spelling. Now, I had just finished reading Bumcider, which had a bunch of errors. This is on a whole other level. This reads like a first draft. Honestly, since this was published after his death by his widow, this might have been his first draft. One of the benefits of having a traditional publisher is access to an editor. And maybe he didn't have it, or maybe Sarah Epps edited it as well. But when your widow wants to dig up your old manuscript she found and make a quick buck, honestly, about halfway through, I stopped counting errors. I was at 45. Exclamation points. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say exclamation points are a bad thing. Twitchell believed that exclamation points equaled action, that punctuation equaled excitement. To demonstrate this, I randomly selected 2 pages, made sure that they weren't action sequences, that they were just conversational pages, right? And counted the exclamation points. Now, out of 26 spoken sentences in these 2 pages, 19 of them inexplicably ended with exclamation points. Now, that isn't to say that the other ones ended in periods. No, typically they were question marks or commas. Yeah, he liked ending sentences in commas for some reason, but I get it. Those two were just so close to each other. The over-reliance of exclamation points in this book made it seem like every single person was yelling their lines, which was equal parts hilarious and strangely exhausting. Our hero, Petterzask, is sometimes referred to as Milo. There is no reason given for this. It happens 8 or 9 times in the book. I have some theories as to why this is. The first is that Twitchell decided afterwards to change the name Milo to something more exotic sounding, so he went with Petterzask, but he couldn't be bothered to track down every single Milo, so he skipped some. And my second theory is probably more likely and infinitely weirder. Paul Twitchell would sometimes refer to himself as Petterzask, saying that that is his spiritual name.
What kind of stupid name is that?
And so perhaps his widow decided to honor her late husband by making him the star of this book, but just did a crappy job. Twitchell writes well outside the lines of his skill as a writer and his vocabulary, that is, when he isn't spilling absolute gibberish onto the page. I get the sense that he is not nearly as smart as he thinks he is, or as smart as he wants you to think he is. I too vary betrayal. But his motion was like a movement. Well, they typically are. He was a weird-looking individual, his body like a sliver of wood. He was just a normal guy. He gave a start as the man stood before him like some prehistoric monster in the inky night. Again, it was the same guy. A great anger swelled up in him, starting from way down in him like a movement in the bowels of a space rocket. What? Now my personal favorite. All things must be trying to become the universal by excluding all other things. Now, I have it on good authority that if you chant that 3 times, enter the dream realm, you'll absorb the sound of God! Paul Twitchell often switched into preaching mode. This happened quite regularly, and every time he did, it was word salad. This is a science fiction book written by Kamala Harris.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
After a while, you start to pick up on some potential misogyny. She didn't obey. That shows you how little you know about women. Tell a woman she can't do something and she will do it to spite you. He knew that she was like all women, that she could never be free because she was basically materialistic and chained to facts. But like many others who claimed to be highly developed, she always achieved a physical result. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? None of us know what that means, but it feels weird in here, right? At one point, our heroes are being tortured by magicians with horrifying visions and dreams. The procession of the damned left them. The corpses, skeletons, mummies, twitching, tottering, animated ghouls, and aggregation of clawing creatures were gone, but they were followed by battalions of giants, clowns, and long-haired, wrinkled old females. And then after all this, Paul Twitchell just gets tired of beating around the bush and just comes out and says it. The positive and negative principles, the male and female, the light and dark. This was the law of polarity, or the law of opposites in the universe of this strange world, and it affected all things. Nothing could exist except in relation to its opposite. Without mountains, there would be no valleys. Without shadows, there could be no perception of light. There would be no evil if there were no good for comparison. That's real subtle, Paul. Real subtle.
Do solemnly swear to be a he-man and hate women and not play with them or talk to them unless I have to. And especially never fall in love. And if I do, may I die slowly and painfully and suffer for hours or until I scream bloody murder.
Unbelievable.
The flow of this story is completely unbearable. You never feel grounded anywhere. The world is ill-conceived and vague. We rarely get description into the world, and when we do, it's either contrived or just nonsensical. Twitchell tried to make this an epic, but he lacked the skill to do so, and as a result, our heroes move from set to set, usually by passing through a portal, or fog, or a flame, or light, or they just magically arrive somewhere. The world is very convoluted, and as a result, we don't get a sense of locations' physical relation with one another. They mention other worlds, other universes, but then randomly we'll be like on the river Styx, and they'll mention America, but it's not the real river Styx, even though they come up to the ferryman, and the ferryman's like,
"Welcome to the river Styx. I will transport the dead to their final resting."
Anyway, here's the city we were looking for. All right, watch your step getting off. Bye, everybody. The journey to the windy mountains of the Ancient One is a treacherous trek that will test our very... Oh, that's nice. We're here already. But how do we get inside this palace that is guarded by dragons and androids? And then we're inside. I think one of the essential elements of an epic is the journey. And there's no journey here. Oh no, we're trapped in this prison. How can we get out? Got it. Blackface. Paul Twitchell was, let's be honest. He's kind of creepy. This is the picture they chose. A great deal of this book explains different methods of mind control, manipulation, and achieving mass hypnosis.
Isn't that where you take the brain out of the skull and wash it with cool water?
No, you don't take the brain out of the skull.
You don't take the brain? Well, how can you wash the brain if you don't take it out of the skull?
You also get the feeling the whole time that he is trying to manipulate you, the reader.
Hocus pocus, darmanocus.
Wizard got my brain.
I've already mentioned the preaching, but it wasn't the character saying these things. It wasn't allegory. It was Twitchell pausing his story to address you and the reader and randomly talk and preach about how much he hates communism or what his thoughts on women or on tradition or on God. And honestly, most of what he said was gobbledygook.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened.
It was nonsense. He spent a lot of time espousing the utility of Eckankar without actually explaining what it is.
And this is what the path of Ek is all about. Walking the path to God. Even more, it's about walking your path to God.
There is one thing that Paul Twitchell is very well known for, and that is being a well-documented, exposed plagiarist. We're talking cut and paste here.
Okay. The founder of this particular movement, what he tried to do was lie about his past.
Are you talking about a particular cult now?
Right.
Well, you've already written it. You might as well say who it is.
Okay, the group is called Eckankar, and it was founded in San Diego, and it's well known throughout the United States and throughout the world. The founder was Paul Twitchell. And what he tried to do was start a new religious group in 1965. And what he tried to do is hide his past. And almost every book this person wrote was plagiarized from texts that were written in France in 1938 and 39. This area, I happen to have the books in my library. You take the book out, the new 67 edition of Paul Twitchell's Far Country, and you take out a book, Path of the Masters by Julian Johnson in 1939, not a line has been changed.
Copied it exactly.
Word for word.
Now, I don't want to just sit here and bash a dead guy, right? However, it is worthy of note that he was a cheat, a swindler.
Terrible, terrible thing you've done. Well, it's terrible. Just terrible.
And then one day, he appointed himself spiritual Master and started a new religion after learning some tips and tricks from L. Ron Hubbard. I think that Twitchell summed up everything perfectly on page 114. Acting is the greatest of all arts. Who says Colts can't be fun? What's this? Well, thank you. I'm actually quite thirsty, yes. Cherry Kool-Aid, my favorite. Twitchell knows that he needs to describe people, what they look like, their physical appearance, and so he describes their eyes. Unfortunately, he only ever says that they have glittering eyes. Everybody, every single person in this book has glittering eyes. An angry group of kids ran in herds. Most of them were thugs with sideburns. Yep, space greasers. We're a couple decades late at this point, but Twitchell still throwing some greaser shade. Nonsensical reactions. Nobody in this book acts or makes decisions like real humans do. An evil priest jumps out at our heroes, unarmed. Ah, you've been captured. Oh no. Put your weapons away, Pedar. We've been captured. You want to brainwash me? Never! Well, okay. Dang it, I guess I'm brainwashed now. Apparently I have no choice but to slaughter thousands of innocent people and laugh maniacally while I do it. That's the hero, by the way. Lydia, I'm sorry. I'm ready to love you now.
I can't. You're a warrior, and you'll always be a warrior.
Then join me. Join me in battle. Fight by my side. Lydia, what are you doing here in battle? Boys, get her out of here. Women, am I right? Nobody does anything that makes sense in this book, and in fact, be careful. You could seriously injure yourself with how often you will be scratching your head. Pedar Zask is trapped in the underworld, and in order to break free, he must defeat the monster E. Pluribus. Ooh, that's a cool sounding name. Where have I heard that before? Oops. I am the Ancient One, Pedar Zask. I can create androids by blowing on clay. Ha, you're wasting your time here. I'm invincible. I'm immortal. I'm invulnerable. The only thing that can possibly kill me would be the dagger of magic. What's in your hand? East of danger. What does this mean? I don't know. It's said 5 times in this book. We are now east of danger. You will always be east of danger. Always capitalized too. But it is not explained. I don't have a clue what it means. I don't think Paul Twitchell knows what it means either. I think he just thought it sounded cool. This story parallels situations in the world today. True. That's true. I know I'm being very critical here in this review, but even I can't deny that claim. We've all seen our best friend, a Saudi, named Saudi, marry the girl we were friend zoning, and now we're jealous, but at least he ends up being a robot, which we found out when a super old guy punched his robot head off, and we intentionally/unintentionally lead a communist movement, but it's only because there was this hot girl that we liked, but didn't like because we're probably gay, but very much in denial about it, but at least she ends up being a cat that we sneak up on and stab in the head while it's sleeping. And then we become the master of the universe, but only after we have a polite conversation with Satan to save the friend zone gal, but she doesn't want to be saved, but then she does want to be saved, and now she would rather friend zone us and rule the universe while we become the spiritual Ek master that we always were because it was our destiny to carry the work of Ek. Parallels? Try prophetic. So what's the verdict? I'd say return to Pulp, but this was printed on sacred illuminated way holy paper, and I'm afraid... Wait, don't! There's a whole cleansing ritual that we need to... Wait, no! I never thought something would rival the 4-day weekend in terms of absolute crappiness, but East of Danger is giving it a run, and we're going to have to go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. You know it's sad when the best thing you've got going for you is this cover. Because this cover is dog shit. And that's my review of East of Danger. Please let us know in the comments if my body is found dismembered and ritualistically castrated on a sacrificial altar for besmirching the power of Ek. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time for SF Horror Month, starting with Island of Fear.
Love will overcome all things, and yet love will not overcome all things.
What?